Jesus was married to Mary Magdalene. Bonjour, I'm Jay Show, and this is Jay Show's Journey, where I'm traveling the world full time while going through a spiritual awakening. And I'm inviting you to come along with me on this beautiful journey. Today is the first video I'm doing of a series of videos on Mary Magdalene while I'm traveling through the south of France. Now, why would you want to come with me while I'm traveling through France, researching her? Well, I believe Mary Magdalene's teachings can help lead us toward peace and love and help strengthen our inner power. So who was she? Well, if you grew up in a Christian household like I did, you probably remember her as the prostitute. The prostitute that washed Jesus' feet with her tears of sorrow and then dried his feet with her long, gorgeous golden hair. But that's not true. That woman was never named in the Bible. Some religious, powerful person along the way decided that he was going to tell everybody that that was Mary. And so it stuck. But it's a lie. And it's the reason, if you're Christian today, that's what you think when you hear that name, Mary Magdalene. You think that she was the prostitute. So who was she in truth? Well, she was the 13th disciple. She was known as the apostle to the apostles. She was the only disciple with Jesus as he died on the cross. She was the person that found the empty tomb. And she was the first person he appeared to after rising from the dead. She seems pretty important to me. Yeah, she was right there with him. They were married. You know, I consider myself claircognizant and empathic. And what claircognizant means is when I hear something or someone tells me something or I have a feeling or a thought, I just know. I just know what's true. I know the truth. And I believe that they were married. And you can choose to believe me or you can choose not to. Either way. But yeah, they were married. Yin and yang. They had a divine union. She was the divine feminine and he was the divine masculine. Not one is more important than the other. But we live in a world today where that is not the case. We live in a very masculine-focused world today, don't we? And I believe the teachings of Mary Magdalene can help show us what we're missing. We're missing the spiritual side of things. We're missing listening to your inner voice, trusting your intuition. We're missing all the feminine aspects of the Bible. Yeah, things are just way out of balance, way out of balance. Let's use an example of an actual female. Let's say she's a powerful female. What do people do when they're threatened by a powerful female? Well, they might make up stories about her. They might make up lies, try to tarnish her reputation. Kind of like what happened to Mary. They might try to make her feel bad about herself in some way. You know, sex is bad if you're a woman. Great if you're a man. That is the biggest BS double standard, and we all know it. We all know it. So why? Why do we keep living our lives this way for thousands of years? You know, I don't know, but I don't want to anymore. And I'm going to help show others that there is another way. And that's what this channel is all about. So the story. So why don't we know about Mary? Why is she barely in the Bible and known as the prostitute? Well, it's coming out now that there were a lot of books of the Bible that were hidden. They were hidden, buried, and burned. Yeah, there was a book of Mary. There was a book of Enoch, a book of Thomas. There were lots of gospels that they're not in there now. So why? Why do you think all these books of the Bible were hidden, buried, and burned? I don't know. I want to find out. But I can kind of guess, I mean, there's been a lot of masculine power in our world over the last 2,000 years. And, so what are the teachings that they might have been afraid of when we're talking about Mary specifically? Well, her teachings, and really it wasn't just her teachings, it was Jesus's teachings that she spread here in France after his death. And it's a lot of the spiritual side of things, listening to your inner voice, trusting your intuition. You can meditate. You can go within. You can get power from within yourself, spiritual power from inside your body. But that wouldn't work well with the church, would it? We're supposed to go to church. We're supposed to pay money to the church, right? We're supposed to listen to men and do what they say. So going within, being able to do it on your patio like we are here today, being able to meditate whenever you want to get spiritual power for yourself, that doesn't work that well with the church, does it? So the journey. Well, I am going to go to the first thing, go to the cave where she lived for the last 30 years of her life here in the south of France. It's going to be an amazing, spiritual, and important video. I've got chills. And I'm going to go to a basilica where her remains are in Saint Maxima. I'm going to go to the town where she arrived here in France. Yeah, that's another story. She got into a boat in the Holy Land. Her and it was 2 other Marys. Yeah, there were a lot of Marys back then, kind of like Jennifer in the 80s, right? Yeah, the 3 Marys and her brother Lazarus, they all were either escaping persecution and got into a boat, or they were put into a boat, kind of go out to sea, so to speak. But luckily they survived. They survived and landed here in France. They landed in a town called Les Saintes-Maries de la Mer. And I'm going to go there, and that will be amazing. I'm pretty much going to follow her path, not necessarily in the direction she went, but I'm going to follow her footsteps. And I'm going to learn more about her teachings along the way. And you can come along with me. I hope you will. It will be just incredibly enlightening. And together, we can uncover the truth. Thank you so much for watching today. And please subscribe to my channel, like the video. This is a new channel, so anything you could do in that way would be so appreciated. You can please, make a comment, even an emoji, give me a heart. I would love that. I'm sending out to all of you peace and love. Au revoir.